Hey, hi, Eid Mubarak and welcome to a fantastic taste of fusion. Today, I'm conjuring up a glorious menu which shall be sampled by a bunch of very, very talented people. I've got the beautiful Amna Sheikh, the fantastically talented Fakhir, and singer extraordinaire Ali Khan coming to join me for dinner. But what's on my menu, you might ask? Well, I'm starting off with a brilliant mushroom risotto which I'm fusing in a very special way. My next course is a curry pasta. And you might think, curry pasta, how do they work? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. My two main courses are starting off with a marmalade roast. Yes, a glorious piece of mutton in the oven with some marmalade wrapped around it. How delicious does that sound? And my chicken, well, I'm creating a Southeast Asian chicken and I'm creating a bridge of flavor, coming up with something truly unique. And for dessert, well, what is Eid without sevaians? So, a little fusion take on sevaians themselves, served with some peaches on the side. And now, while the birds are still chirping, and to celebrate this day, I better go off, pick up my veg, get back to the kitchen, and get cooking. Right, we're ready to get started and I'm going to start off with the meat today, which is this fantastic shoulder of mutton or dusty. Now, why I'm starting off with this is because I need it to cook super fast, so once it goes into the oven, I don't need to worry about it. So, first things first, I'm just going to take the dusty, and this is the front shoulder of mutton. It's the easiest to cook, and I just got my butcher to clean it up for me. That means they basically took off all the muscle that covers the piece of meat. And of course, I got some little extra bits, which I'm very happy about. Alright, now, first things first, I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut through the meat like so, taking it all the way down to the bone and thus creating a little incision in the bone as well. Why I'm doing this is because I want this meat to cook super fast and I want the bone to release all that marrow and all those juices very, very quickly. So, on one side, like so, and on the base as well. Right, now this goes straight into my oven dish. Now, straight into the pan like so. Next step, I'm going to pop in 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 large or heaped teaspoon of red chili powder, 1½ teaspoons of coriander powder, ½ a teaspoon of cumin, 1½ teaspoons of coconut milk powder actually, some olive oil, drizzle on about 3 tablespoons worth, and then very, very quickly, using my hands, I'm going to rub all this into the meat. Make sure it goes into those incisions and you work it through thoroughly. Flip it over, and again, rub any excess sort of spice. Throw in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And onto the base, I'm going to pour about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Now, I'm not going to flip this over, but I'm going to let the top half cook upwards. Therefore, when it comes out, then I'm going to flip it over at the end. I want those juices to be secreted through the top half because the bone being there will sort of, secrete all that lovely marrow fluid out very, very quickly. Okay, so now our meat is almost done. I just have to add in a couple more things. And that is this fantastic marmalade. Now, I'm just using any basic orange marmalade. I would tend not to use bitter marmalade or darker marmalade in this instance because it might add too much bitterness to the meat. And as you can see, I'm just putting this onto the bottom half, leaving the treated top half with the spices face downwards in the pan, letting those juices flow out and cooking upwards. So, just gonna coat this glorious marmalade on. Right, now that's mixed in. Next, what am I going to add into that? I've got some glorious tomatoes that I've halved. I'm just going to pop them around the sides and I'm keeping them whole. I'm keeping them quite chunky because I want them to dry in the oven rather than cook. So they'll be somewhat sun-blushed when they come out. Go. Next, I'm going to throw in some pistachios, and of course, because it's Eid, why not a little fusion with the dry fruit? Another lashing of olive oil. and just a drizzle of Thai rice vinegar. That's it. Now this goes underneath my grill, which has been on for about 20 minutes, heating up the oven so it's like a bomb almost. Right, so our meat's in the oven for a good hour and a half to 2 hours, which gives me enough time to get started on my next main course, which is Southeast Infusion Chicken. For that, I'm just going to prepare my pan here. Now, this is a one-pan dish. Everything goes in once, and you cook it up in a blitz. So it's super easy and it's super fast. First things first, I've got some lovely little chicken breasts here, and I've decided that I'm going to keep them whole. I'm not actually going to cut them up. I'm just going to take them out like so. 6 of them. So I'm going to create a lovely little platter. Next, I'm going to salt them. So, large pinch of salt straight onto the meat and rub it in. And that's it, my chicken is prepared. No, I'm joking, I'm not done yet, but I'm done with the pieces of meat. I'm just going to let them sit in the salt there and get everything else ready. Next, in my pan, what's going in, you might ask? I've got some fantastic pak choy here, which is Chinese cabbage, which you can get at your grocer's. If you can't, don't worry, just use cabbage instead. These days you get everything at the grocer and it's all grown here. It's fantastic produce. In this goes. Then I've got these lovely little mushrooms that I've sliced up, large handful of them. Some glorious pomegranate, and of course there's fusion right there, fruit. So about 4 tablespoons of the pomegranate. And now for the seasoning. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of red chili flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and that's it. We are ready to fry this up for the first part. Right, now to get started, I'm just going to pop the meat here to the side because I'm going to attend to that later. First things first, the veggies. I'm going to get them on a high flame and let that start searing up. Before I do anything, I'm going to add just about 2 tablespoons of olive oil from the top and 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. Stir it up. And of course, this is going to cook very, very fast. So, next step, some rice vinegar, about 3 tablespoons of that. Stir that in. And here I have some lovely tiny cloves of garlic. You can get them from your, grocer. It's basically a smaller pod, it's local garlic and it's very, very pungent and it's used a lot in chutney. So I'm just going to take about 6 pods of that and pop them straight in. Stir that up. And of course, the pak choy has immediately started wilting down. So next step, and the final step, in go the pieces of chicken on top of the vegetables in the pan. Like so. Turn the heat down slightly. Next, from on top, about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. A lovely lashing of balsamic vinegar, 1.5 tablespoons. And finally, I've got these killer green chilies right here, and I'm just going to tear them with my hand, just open them up slightly and pop them in on top of the chicken. And next, I'm going to grab the lid, close the chicken in, and put it onto a very low heat and let that cook, and that's going to take about 8 minutes, after which it's ready. Next, my lovely mushroom risotto.